Hello and welcome back. We are looking at today in Ignorance is Myth, the idea of Ragnarok. Ooh. So, what is Ragnarok? It comes from Norse myth, and we are going to badly pronounce everything that is in it. But to badly pronounce with me, I've got the wonderful, the witch Blair with me again.
Hello, I'm ready to Ragnarok and roll.
I
The
can
puns
always
are bad, but they're also frequent.
I can always count on you for a bad pun. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. So we have Ragnarok. What is Ragnarok? It's from Old Norse, meaning fate of the gods, twilight of the gods. It is a prophesied apocalyptic event in Norse mythology, a great and final battle that results in the death of many major gods, the destruction of the world, and its eventual rebirth. A
That's
story.
just my Friday night gigs.
What I think in the bars that you do them in, quite probably. Yeah. Sounds about right. But it is a story of endings, reckonings, and of what may rise from ruin. So there are lots of examples of this that I was looking through from Norse mythology, but we are going to take a look at one in specific at the moment. Yep, right there it is. So we are going to take a look at Thor and the World Serpent, the final clash. Are you familiar with this one?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's got a big snake in it,
Of course, of course.
and a big man with a big hammer. What's not to like?
You are so predictable.
Yeah, it's like DIY daddy and a big snake. I've seen that porno.
Only fans come through. Okay, let's get started with the story.
Only
So,
fans to see.
only fans to see. Maybe that. No, I'm not even going there with that idea.
You
We'll put it
regretted having me on this year.
we'll put it on a t-shirt. It'll be great.
Add that to the t-shirt list.
Okay, so serious. The skies were dark with smoke. Thunder rolled across the plains of Vigrid, where gods and monsters had gathered for their last stand. This was Ragnarok, the foretold end, the moment Thor, god of thunder, had known would come since the day he first lifted the hammer. Across the battlefield slithered his foe. Oh, here we go. Jormungandr. Was that right?
I don't know. I'm not Norse.
Okay.
That sounded good to me.
Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent. So this big serpent, this vast serpent, wrapped its body around the entire world.
I've heard so many men say their serpent could wrap around the entire world.
Any of them live up to it?
No.
No, not one.
No. Couldn't wrap around my slim, elegant wrist.
Yes. Très petite, yes, very.
They may be slim, but they're also limp.
You've got. I gotta keep my focus. You.
I love this. I do love this format of you trying to read a story with me here. Just...
When does this ever work? I love it. I love it. Right, born of Loki and the giantess Angrboda, the serpent had been cast into the sea long ago, where he grew in silence and hatred.
I can relate.
I mean, this. I feel like I've read this story before, but it's definitely.
But quick question is: do you think this is where that urban legend? Is it in like New York or something, where like people were buying baby alligators as pets and flushed them down the toilet, and then they grew and there's big alligators in the sewer? Do you think like this ties into that at all?
Like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that was radioactive goo. Like, but no, there was like this urban legend. Like, I'm sure it was New York, but somewhere in America, that people had been like buying crocs and alligators as pets, and then when they started to get too big, flushing them down the toilet, and then there were all these urban legends about them crawling back up the toilet and killing people.
Oh my gosh. Now, I've heard that story a number of times about snakes coming up the toilet. And you know, even to this day, if I have to use a toilet, I check every few seconds.
Oh yeah, I'm never going to Australia, but even in the UK, I have to check for giant poisonous spiders before I use a toilet.
Right. It's terrifying. It's
Yeah.
terrifying. I don't need these stories. Maybe, yeah, maybe they did come from Yomangunder. Yomangander.
Don't flush baby reptiles. They will come back bigger and they will kill you.
Yeah. And you know, I bet
That's not a mental health lesson, but it's a good lesson.
it is a good lesson. Don't want them gnawing at your bits. So the serpent had been cast into the sea long ago, where he grew silent in silence and hatred. His destiny had always been to fight Thor, and Thor's to die killing him. Ooh. So this is like written. This is like prophecy. He's gonna fight Thor.
This is a prophecy of big bloke with hammer versus big snake. Neither one walks away.
Wow. Okay. This is gonna get juicy. Okay, so the ground shook as Thor approached. Mjolnir, his mighty hammer, sparked with lightning. Okay. So Thor's getting pissed. His red beard was stained with ash. He had fought.
Marvel fucked up there. Thor's not blonde.
Oh my God, Thor has red hair. He's ginger.
Red hair. Yeah.
No way.
But you know, obviously the the MCU had to make him blonde because they didn't think anyone would fancy. I just imagine Chris Hemsworth as Thor, but they like dyed his hair red. I'd say even hotter.
Yeah, like long flowing red hair. Definitely. They missed a trick there. That's really stupid.
Cowards, that's what they are.
Or maybe they misread the myth and thought that he put an ash toner on to take the red out.
red Norse myths, not for myth, but for hair care tips. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Welcome to our
that's Hollywood,
where we read myths and give you hair care tips. Okay, so he had fought long already. His arm ached, his breath was short, but none of that mattered. He would meet his doom like a god should, face forward and hammer raised. Okay, so
I'm sorry, but if my arm aches and my breath is short, it's not because I've been fighting for a long time, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to put like a explicit sign on this podcast.
I assumed you were ready to do that when you asked me to do this with you.
I mean, that is a very valid point, and I'm totally ready for that. Do you remember Yorkie was not for girls? This is not for children. Okay, so he's gonna meet this snake. Thor is ready. He's psyched up. My question is, does Thor know about this? Does he know he's going to die in this battle?
Well, that's it, because the prophecy is like known, but it's never really hashed out exactly who knows what. Like Odin obviously knows all of it because hung upside down from a tree, take my eye, give me information. This was before you could just like ask Siri. You had to go to 3 old women and be hung from a tree and give your eye away if you wanted to learn anything. Much like you had to with British libraries back in the day.
Yeah.
But no, I believe Thor does. I believe Thor does know that he's not getting through this. I believe all the gods know that they're not getting out of this alive.
Yeah. Wow. So this is already representing that task that you feel is completely unbeatable, and
like self-fulfilling prophecies.
Oh yes, absolutely. Which there are so many of us holding on to those, right? Like it's such a hot topic in psychology. So let's
Thor had just gone to a Taco Bell instead. He might still be with us today.
Hi, with his long flowing red hair. Taco Bell.
I think because Ragnarok's meant to have already happened.
What do you think Thor would order from Taco Bell?
Everything.
I think you're right. I think you
Yeah.
get like extra meat and protein. He feels like a
Yeah.
bro. He feels like a real bro.
Refried beans, absolutely.
Oh God, I love a refried bean. Ooh. Okay.
Anyway, big snake.
Yes, big snake. The serpent reared its head, eyes like storm clouds, fangs dripping with venom thick enough to poison oceans. It let out a roar that shattered mountains. The sky flashed with lightning as Thor charged.
Now, here's a modern take.
Uh-huh.
Small snake thrown into ocean, now big enough to wrap around it, has venom that can poison said oceans. Chemical and plastic dumping in the ocean.
It's a
I'm
modern.
not saying they were not saying that when they wrote it, obviously, but you could use it now. That's the thing about these things. You can apply them, you can apply old stories to modern situations.
So don't pollute is what we've learned so far.
Yeah. Don't pollute or big snake.
And don't flush alligators down the toilet.
No, or big alligators.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Throwing away a small problem, again, like we said in the last one about that looking at your problems, if you don't deal with things when they start to become a problem, the problem will just become bigger. You can't just ignore problems.
You are, oh my gosh, that is absolutely so poignant in this. That's it. When you throw a problem away, it will begin to nurture itself in that environment that you've thrown it in, and
Yeah,
it will poison that environment.
because again, it's like, oh, there was a prophecy. Well, the snake when thrown in ocean, maybe this big,
Mm-hmm.
one hit of the hammer.
Yeah.
It's not immune to hammers. Like it's going to kill it with a hammer in a minute. Like it's this idea of if you think something is set in stone, it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay. Okay. I like that. This is really interesting. So this was not just a battle, it was a reckoning. They collided with a fury the world had never seen. Thunder cracked, waves surged. The serpent coiled around Thor, trying to crush him. Thor struck again and again, each blow like the falling of a star. Mjolnir found its mark, cracking scale and bone, forcing the beast back. So he's fighting with his life here, like for his life, even.
Yeah, they both are.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, let's move on. But Jormungandr's venom filled the air, burning, choking, seeping into Thor's lungs. Still, the Thunder God fought on, one final swing, one last mighty blow, and the serpent screamed with a crash that split the earth. Jormungandr collapsed, defeated. Thor staggered back. The beast was dead. He had fulfilled his destiny, but the poison had already taken hold. He took 9 steps, just 9, before his legs gave way. He fell beside his enemy, the storm gone from his chest, his eyes closed not in despair, but in grim peace. He had saved the world, even knowing it would die anyway. Wow.
Pick your battles.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
If
absolutely.
someone tells you a prophecy about, well, that's the problem is because I'm like saying, oh, why not just kill the snake when it's little? The things with any of these ancient myths where there's a prophecy is in trying to subvert it, you end up fulfilling it anyway. And there's
Yeah.
a sort of weird sort of thing that stands out in the Greek myths of they 9 times out of 10, the Norse myths, 9 times out of 10, they don't bother trying to get around it. They just go, well, this is going to happen. So we'll just do it. Whereas
Yeah.
in the Greek myths, they always try and get around the prophecy, and that's what makes it happen. So it's the kind of idea that if you compare these two mythologies together, it doesn't
Mm,
matter what you do, you're kind of boned either way.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It feels like as well once you know something is going to happen. Oh, this is coming up. This is going to happen. You sort of maybe you feel like it's really far away, and then by the time it comes up to it, you have to, okay, I know this is coming, and you come at it from like somewhere different. Whereas in like other myths we can read or will look at or have looked at, things happen and they come by surprise, and there's that element of surprise. But dealing with something when you've been tricked or dealing with something when you've been caught off guard takes a whole different mindset to something that has already had that mind game on you for so long. And Thor going into this battle knowing he was going to die, or knowing he had to at least fight this snake, what kind of mind games could that have played on him beforehand, and how would he have maybe come around that, I wonder?
Well, it's the thing about working with what you've got. It's like, when we're talking about Sisyphus before, it's like knowing where the end is, or that an end is coming, can
Yeah.
allow you to appreciate the time you do have. And I think you can go either one of two ways. If you've been told, hey, when Ragnarok comes, you are going to fight a big snake and you'll kill it, but you'll die at the same time, you could then waste the rest of your life worrying about it or trying to change it. Like
Yeah.
whenever I do tarot readings for people and they're like, oh, so is the future set in stone? I just go, I personally believe that when you try and look to the future, you see the most likely thing that's going to happen, and maybe you could change it. But there are some things that you can't change, death and taxes.
Yeah.
If some actual, seer comes to you and says, hey, in 6 months, you are going to save 3 children from a burning building, but the amount of smoke that gets into you is going to kill you. You could try until you're blue in the face to avoid. You might just think, well, I won't run into a building that's on fire, but what if it's a building you were already in on that day
Right.
that's on fire? And
Never.
then what do you do then? Do you run out hoping that you'll survive, or do you save the 3 children? Because by the time you get out, even without trying to save the kids, you could inhale enough smoke that it kills you.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you get given a certain fate of this is when you're going to die, you could spend, let's just stick with that, in 3 months. You could spend the next 3 months trying to change that, and then die anyway and have wasted the last 3 months of your life.
Yeah.
Or you could try and change it and end up dying sooner. Or you could try and change it and then get more time, but then after those 3 months, you'll be constantly looking over your shoulder for the grim specter of death. If you know you've got limited time, enjoy it.
Do you know, actually, I think this is really poignant. I think it comes back to, again, having death as one of the things that are certain to happen. And that is going to be something that a lot of people can become fearful of. And you can worry about the things that you can't change, or you can just get on with life and make the best. Because Thor didn't have to fight the snake. He could have let the snake kill him, and then the earth would be doomed to be squeezed up and poisoned by the snake. But he chose to do the noble thing and do the best that he could with the time and the life that he had.
Yeah, because he's known about Ragnarok for a long time, and he's just been going about fighting giants, drinking mead, doing what he loves to do. Because also, if you know that when you're going to die is at the end of the world fighting a big snake, you can sort of act with impunity because you know you're not going to die before then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we have to go through our lives not knowing what tomorrow will bring. We don't know when we're going to die. You can do everything right and be the healthiest, most health conscious person in the world, but be hit by a bus, or just have a random aneurysm or heart attack that no one could see coming, because things can be so random.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't focus on when you're going to die, because you're not going to get a definitive date. Because Thor knew he'd die in Ragnarok, but no one knew exactly when that was going to happen.
No.
So it's that whole thing of like, live each day like it's your last, because Ragnarok, your fated day of death, could come tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. Your own personal Ragnarok. When is it going to be the time? Almost like if you want to use a more Christianization, the more Western word, like your judgment day, your day of, okay, this is my end. Am I pleased with what I've done and the legacy I've left on the earth?
Yeah.
With what I have.
Don't try and avoid death because it's impossible. Try and greet death with no regrets, or as few as possible.
Mm.
I've always been, I feel like people are more obsessed with quantity of life over quality of life.
Oh,
And
that,
people will deprive themselves joy because it's not the healthiest option, or they'll like spend their entire time, working on their physical bodies, but maybe not their mental health,
mhm.
and denying themselves moments of joy and laughter. Like I've got friends who have cancelled like plans to like go out and do stuff because I haven't got to the gym enough this week, and I
Mm.
won't be, and I have to go this many times a week, so I won't be like coming out to hang out with my friends tonight. And I'm like, so you'll live longer, but you'll be lonely.
Yeah,
What's
there's
the
definitely
what's the point? Because again, no matter how much work you do, something could just come out of left field and you could die tomorrow.
that is so true. That is so true. I worked with when I was working in cardiac rehabilitation. There was young people there who just said, fit people who were running marathons not weeks before their heart event. And it really can come out of nowhere, and it they all commented on how it gave them a new like way of seeing life to
No
come at
matter what people try and tell you, there's no code, there's no system for a long life, because you can
them.
do the best you can. And this isn't me saying, oh, just eat everything and drink everything and don't look after yourself. But it's got to be a balance.
Mm.
Some people take it too far one way, some people take it too far the other. It's the line between nihilism and trying to find immortality.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like when my grandfather passed away, he got cancer in three of his major internal organs, and he was in hospital, and the doctors were giving him blood transfusions.
Mm.
Um, and they said, well, look, if you stay in the hospital, we could keep doing these blood transfusions and you'll live for another 2 to 3 months. Or if you go home, you've got about a week. And I always remember what he said, because there were arguments with like my mum and my cousin, who are both medical people.
Hmm.
But he was just like, what's the point of scrabbling an extra 2 months when,
Mm.
that blood they're giving me could go to like a young person who's just been in a car accident, who's got the whole rest of their life ahead of them.
Yeah,
And so he decided to go home. He said, I want to die at home with my armchair and my family.
yeah.
And they said, you've got a week then. And he said, my birthday's in 2 weeks. We'll see about that. He went to bed on the night of his birthday 2 weeks later, and my mum was down there with some of her brothers and sisters looking after him. And he
Hmm.
just said, I'm the luckiest man in the world because I'm here with my family and I don't regret anything. And then he said a few things that didn't make a lot of sense, so we won't count those. But then he went to bed and just didn't wake up the next day.
Wow.
And you've got to think, like, those two, some people would have been like, no, give me those 2 months. But he was like, there's nothing I need to do with those 2 months. And he
Mm.
actively thought, like, that bag of blood going to me could mean someone else doesn't get something. I know that's unlikely,
Yeah.
because, there are plenty of blood donors and things that can be done, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
But also, dragging his end out for those extra couple of months would have been painful.
Mm.
The treatments would have become less effective.
Yeah.
And I think he was so lucky to just sort of like go to bed with a bit of pain relief and then just pass away peacefully in his sleep. And he
Yeah.
was happy when he went. And I've always said, if I ever end up like, strapped to a bed in hospital, unconscious, and they're like, oh, we can keep them alive, but they might never wake up, pull the plug. What's the point? All
Wow.
that's doing is hurting the people waiting for you to wake up.
Yeah. I think it's definitely about taking control of your experience, isn't it?
Yeah, like again, sort of like, again, don't put stuff off tomorrow like an immortal, because you're not.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
you know, eat the cake today, enjoy yourself today, look after yourself because it makes you happy, not because you think it will make you live longer. Do it
Yeah.
because it makes you feel good now.
Yeah.
And because it means that, if you do make it to old age, that won't be as uncomfortable for you. But don't try and calculate and figure out a way to make your life longer. I think those are two very different things. Being healthy and trying to live longer are two different things.
Hmm.
It's like, I watched that documentary recently about that lunatic who's trying to like reverse aging on himself.
Oh my God, I've seen this. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like he got a plasma transfusion from his son, to
Yeah.
try and youth in his body, and then did the same thing. He then gave his plasma to his dad, and it's like, and he takes like 150 pills a day. He lies under various different UV lights for hours at a time. He does all this working out, and I'm like, I've watched this whole documentary about all the shit you're doing. I've never once seen you just do something fun.
Yeah. When was the last time you just enjoyed a glass of wine by the river? You know? Yeah,
Exactly. And it's
absolutely.
just like, again, like I'd feel like a mug if I went through all that and then, like, tomorrow I got hit by a bus.
Yeah, right.
I'm not gonna regret at the end of my life not having eked out a few extra years. I would regret not having done stuff with the time I had.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's the way I look at the world.
Yeah, and I think I think that's a really nice way to see it personally. Um, and they say your life flashes before your eyes. I want it to be entertaining. I want to look at it and go, yeah, that was me. I did all that. I feel
Because
really
like, yeah, because like tying it back to the myth, like
Mhm.
Thor got more about his death than any of us get. He knew, end of world, fight giant snake.
Yeah.
But he knew that he was going to die, which is a rare thing for like myths about gods. Like it only
Mhm.
really happens in Norse with the Ragnarok story that all the gods knew that one day they were going to die. Like the
Yeah,
Greek gods, stories about them stop because societal changes, conversion to Christianity, all of that gets pushed out of the window.
of course.
But all the other gods from other mythology, the idea was they were going to live forever. Gods in Celtic myth, some
Mhm.
of them were and did die, but
Mhm.
the ones that sort of really still make it in mainstream culture today is mainly like Greek, Roman, and Norse. With the Norse ones, it was like, no, they all knew they were going to die.
Yeah, yeah,
And even though they were um, like the Greek gods, kind of like, sort of vengeful and angry, they weren't like, perfect, all loving, like a monotheistic god.
Mhm.
They weren't omnipotent or omniscient. They made mistakes. I would say they weren't quite as childish as the Greek gods are portrayed to be,
Yeah,
because they knew an end was coming, and I think that did make them grow a bit. They were still horrible most of the time.
yeah, yeah.
Like Frigga literally started a war that would kill 10,000 men to get a necklace.
Oh my God. Oh, blood diamonds. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see that as childish. I just see that as a nasty grown up.
Yeah, totally. Someone with a bit too much power.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Um, and I think it is that thing of like, the thing you can take from this is, look, you are going to die one day.
Hmm.
Meet your end with as few regrets as possible, rather than trying to find a way to push it back,
Yeah.
because you don't know when it's coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop it when it does.
Absolutely. And don't
It's
give
like
in.
I've had a near death experience. Like my heart stopped for a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Oh, you cheated death." I'm like, "No, that just wasn't when I died."
Yeah.
It's like, everyone will die at some point, and it will be final. Like some people die for a couple of minutes, are technically medically dead and are brought back, like I was, and it's like, that I don't see that as cheating death. I just see that as, getting a bit too close, a bit too soon.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if that was, I don't know how I truly feel about fate. I don't think things are truly set in stone.
Hmm.
I think fate is something that's only ever seen through mortal eyes with hindsight anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, if that was when I was meant to die, if there is such a thing as when you're meant to, then I wouldn't still be here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you could drive yourself crazy trying to figure out the answers to this stuff, but we're never going to get them. We've been
No.
around for quite a while as a species, and we're no closer now than we were when these myths were written to understanding what it's all about.
So true. It is. Yeah. Absolutely that. We can spend our whole lives looking for it. But I think from learning what we have from this specific myth around Ragnarok and all that is that time for us is finite,
Yeah,
and we can choose to let that stop us from achieving the things that we should and leaving our legacy that we can, or we can choose to take that as the challenge.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point of trying to get more time if you're not doing anything with the time you have except trying to get more time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, it's like with the hyper wealthy. It's like all you're using your wealth to do is get more wealth. What's the point? When will it be enough?
Yeah. When that, yeah. Enough wealth.
Stop and smell the roses. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But
it.
that's the thing with, one of the biggest, like, I think, flaws in the human psyche is never being satisfied with what you have.
Mm.
It feels like maybe because of the way we've built our society, it's not a natural state for people to be satisfied and content. And that's why we have to do so much work on our mental health. We want that.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
We're having to train ourselves to be happy with what we have because we, especially in the Western world, we're designed to chase and want more. The next promotion, the next newest iPhone, the next this, the next that.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's decidedly unhealthy. And I
Mhm.
think if anyone were to take anything from this myth, it's just like, look, you can get as much as you want, but one day you're going to fight a big snake, you're going
Yeah.
to die. And what is going to matter at that point in your final moments?
Mm.
Are you going to look back and think, well, I made all this money and I always had the newest phone? Or are you going to think back to the things that actually matter, like the game nights I have on Monday night when me and my friends are in absolute stitches because of something stupid happening, a game of Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Would I
No,
rather be on my own in a gym on a Monday night or spending time with my friends?
yeah. That's it. It's finding that balance between looking after yourself and using that body. Like, you look after yourself so that you have the ability to enjoy. In yoga, we do the physical postures originally because it helped you sit in meditation longer.
Yeah.
You
And by the
know?
way, that wasn't me in any way trying to slag off people who like going to the gym.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
That was because I have started exercising, but it is in my personal viewpoint, it's like I fit. I'm going to the gym to try and improve my health.
Yeah.
And I was using that as a very crude example of people who will not do the things they enjoy because
Yeah.
I don't enjoy going to the gym.
No.
I would never sacrifice time with my friends to do more of that
Yeah.
rather than criticizing anyone going to the gym. Like, I know some people get such a buzz out of it. I'm
Yeah.
kind of jealous of them because I'd go so much more if it left me feeling anything other than tired and sad.
Yes. So the gym is good, but don't overdo it if you hate it.
I think it's the thing of nothing in excess. Like, don't work out too much, but also don't binge eat or binge drink.
Yeah.
It's like everything in balance and
The
equilibrium.
middle way. It's the Tao. It's the coming to the center and being safe in the
Yeah.
middle, neither extreme.
Going to the gym is the yin. Going to Yang's for Chinese is the yang.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. God, I'm gonna have to speak to them about sponsorship.
Yeah, if they're still like, even if you can't get sponsorship, if we can get like even just like a 20% discount when I come and visit, like,
That'd be great. Just throw in some extra spring rolls. It'd be wonderful.
yeah.
Right, we're gonna leave it there then, Blair. Thank you so much for chatting to me about Ragnarok, and I hope
Oh
everybody.
wow.
You can give the Witch Blair a follow on Instagram at _witch_Blair. And
Do I have to start an OnlyFans now to show people my big snake?
I'm sure, you know what?
I
Vote on the
I,
poll below.
I am going to regret making that joke.
Thank you guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Take care.
That was fun.
Also,